So before that, I would give you a summary what all things we had done yesterday. The first thing, we set up a chef server, and we also set up one workstation, right? So what is a workstation? A workstation is a computer using which a DevOps engineer would make change in the configuration, right? The configurations are saved in plain text code in the workstation. So what a DevOps engineer does is they will make modification to the source code, to the configuration, and then later they will upload those changes into the chef server. So it is the chef server that contains the configuration, and these configurations are actually worked on in the workstation, and later they are uploaded to the chef server. That is the reason you actually need two machines to manage chef. You cannot directly log into the chef server and work on it. Instead, you use one workstation to work on the chef server. And to set up the chef server, first you need a EC2 machine, and inside that EC2 machine you want to install the chef server software. Then next thing, you would set up the workstation. Inside this workstation you would install chef development kit, right? And these are individual package that you need to install on individual machine. Into the chef server you want to install and the chef server package. Into the workstation you want to install the chef development kit package. These steps we haven't done yet. So after installing the chef server, what we did is we created a user called admin and one organization called DevOps, right? And these are the command that we had used for creating the organization. And also the installing chef would include, first you want to install the chef using chef server with this particular command dpkg-i, then the file name that you have downloaded. Then after that you run this command chef server reconfigure. Before you run this reconfigure command, what you also did is you change the host name of your machine and made it the IP address of the machine. So every computer will have a host name, and by default when you run chef reconfigure command, chef URL would be generated and URL would contain whatever the host name it is currently set to. So if you want the public IP of the chef server in the URL, you must set the host name of the chef server to the public IP, then automatically the chef server URL would contain that public IP. So that is the reason. First you set the host name to the public IP of the chef server. Then you run the reconfigure command, then automatically it will make sure that the URL that gets generated would be correct. Then you want to create a user and one organization inside the chef server. This is the syntax. So chef server ctl user create, then you provide the username, the first name, the last name, mail id of the user, then password of the user, followed by the key file. So run this command, a user called admin would be created inside the chef server and his key also would get generated, and that would be saved inside a file admin.pem. And similarly, now we are creating an organization also, and for that you run this particular command org create. This is the organization name, and here you can put the full name of the organization. Basically this is the actual name which chef would use. This is the full name that you can put, the actual name of your organization you can put here. And then you are associating the user admin with the DevOps organization by running this command, by putting this option. And finally the key, you want to generate a key for the organization also. That's why you are putting -f option and then providing the key that will automatically get generated after you run this command. So you already did that. You already created a user and you created an organization, right? And after that, the next thing that you want to do is you want to set up your workstation. So that is exactly what we are going to do today. We are going to set up the workstation. So I told you what workstation does is anybody who want to work on Chef, what they do is they work using their workstation, using their laptop or whatever. They make the configuration modification in their laptop. Later they will upload the changes into the Chef server. That's what they do. So what I am going to do right now is this key file which I have generated in the Chef server, I will copy to my workstation, right? I will copy those files into my workstation, and it is using those key files my workstation can authenticate with the Chef server. Whenever it want to upload some change to the Chef server, it is using those key file the workstation would authenticate. All right. So one I didn't get that. Can't we work with private IP? We can work with private IP actually, and HTTPS does support private IP. Can we work with private IP? Yes. Instead of public IP, I could have simply used the private IP of my EC2 machine. That is also absolutely fine. But basically, assume, I mean, if all my machines are within AWS, then private IP would work. But assume if some machines are in a different VPC, or some machine are your on premise machines, which is in a data center, not within AWS. So in such situation, there can be other machines also which Chef server want to manage, not only the machine within AWS. So that is the reason the public IP is recommended in Chef. But yeah, if you have your entire infrastructure in a single VPC, then yes, the best option would be to use private IP instead of public IP. So yeah, I was answering the Karthik questions. We could use, instead of public IP, we can actually use the private IP also. But in that case, if you used the private IP in the Chef server URL, what would happen? This URL can be accessed only by the machine within the VPC, because the private IP is nothing but the VPC IP. So unless the machine in the same VPC, they cannot connect to the Chef server using that URL. That is the reason I had used the public IP of the Chef server. Okay, great. So let me log into the machines. I already have set up the Chef server. Now I am going to set up the Chef workstation. Okay, I have two machines. This is my Chef server and this is my workstation. So yesterday I logged into this Chef server and then installed Chef server package. I created the user admin and I created the organization, DevOps, all these things I done. You don't need to do anything anymore. You are done with the Chef server setup. I'm just logging into the machine just for the sake of. Later I have to copy this PM file into the workstation, which I will do later. But yeah. Now let me log into the workstation machine. This is the machine which I want to use as the workstation. I'm going to log into this machine. Okay, I am logged into the workstation. So the chef server, I will give it a green color, and the workstation I would give a white color. Yeah, and I am going to add a user add hyphen m chef. Basically, I do not want to work as root in the workstation. I want to create a normal user, then I want to work as the normal user. That is the reason I am creating a separate user called chef, and it is inside this particular user I'm going to set up the configuration. Right, I want to write down the configuration that which would basically manage your infrastructure. Right, I need to write the configuration. So all those work I want to do under a different user. So I switch myself to the chef user, then I will work as chef user whenever I want to make any configuration modification. Okay, so the first thing which I want to do is I want to generate a sample repository, a template. So I told you the cookbook. First, you need to create a chef repository, which is nothing but your configuration. And then the entire chef is divided into small cookbook, which are nothing but different folders. One folder is Apache, other folder is Tomcat, other folder can be Nginx, like that. There are multiple folders which are multiple cookbook within chef, and inside each folder or inside each cookbook you would write down the recipes combining multiple resources. So basically the configuration is nothing but a file hierarchy. It's a file hierarchy that you need to make modification into. So first, before I need to start, I need a sample folder structure to be created. Right, before I start writing any configuration, I want a general structure, a basic structure to be created, the folder structure. For that there is a command called chef generate. No, the command is, what was that, in the workstation. Oh, okay, first I want to install chef development kit package. Right, of course, that's the first thing I want to do. I want to install the chef development kit on the workstation machine. Basically, chef development kit is the package which provides, which make your machine a workstation. Then you can start adding your configurations. So first, let me go ahead and download the chef development kit. Search in Google, download chef dk. You would be taken to chef dk download, chef development kit. I want to download the package for Ubuntu. Of course, I want to download to my EC2 machine, so I right click and copy the link address. Then using the wget command, I'm going to download it. First, I log in as root user. Under the root user, I'm going to download this chef development kit package. And it is downloaded. I can install it using what command? dpkg -i. Then the package name, the Debian package name, it will get installed. The chef development kit package will get installed in your machine. Okay, great. So chef development kit is installed. Now you would configure this machine as your workstation. So the first thing, before you could make any configuration modification, first you need a sample configuration, basically a template, a sample template configuration that you want inside your workstation. Then you can create cookbook, you create recipes, then create resources, all these things that you can do after you have a template. So that is the first thing I want to do. I want to create a folder and file structure which would contain my configuration. So first I want to log in as a different user, let's say chef. So I logged in as the user chef, then I would run this command, chef generate repo is the command which would generate a sample configuration repository. Right, chef repo is nothing, I mean, this particular command would basically create a folder and a number of subfolders inside it. Basically it would contain the folder structure for chef. Even though the files are going to be empty, you can customize them later. Basically this is the folder which would host your configuration. I told you, whenever you want to make any change in your infrastructure, you want to add number of new machines, or you want to upgrade your Apache from 2.2 to 2.4 in all your machines, or maybe you want to install Tomcat in a number of machines. So whatever action that you want to do inside your infrastructure, you basically want to make some configuration inside the Chef server. That's what you're going to do, right? So basically, for making those configuration changes, this is the folder where you are going to make this configuration changes. So first you are generating a folder structure by running this particular command. Run this command, it would basically create a folder called chef repo. Now you type ls command, you can see the chef repo folder got created. Go inside the folder, type ls, you can see a folder and file structure. There is a cookbook folder. If you want to create a new cookbook, you need to create the cookbooks inside this particular folder. You want to create a new role in chef, you need to create them inside this particular folder. You want to create a new environment, you want to create them inside this particular folder. So like that, there are different folders and different file that you can work with and start making your configuration changes. So let me repeat that one more time. What is a configuration? What do I mean by the configuration? The details about your infrastructure, nothing else, right? How many machines that you have, which are running Apache, how many machines that you have that comes under Tomcat, how many machines that you have that comes under database, and what are the list of checklists that need to be performed on all these machines. So all this information is written inside this chef server, and they are spread across multiple cookbook. And we discussed about run list. The run list is nothing but you assign the run list to individual node, or sometimes you assign the run list to a complete role. So I want to write down this chef configuration, and for that purpose only, first I created this folder, and inside this folder I will write down my configuration. How many machine do I have? How many roles do I have? All all these things I can do over here. That is the purpose I added the chef repo. So now let's say you are in a situation on all your machines you want to upgrade Apache. Right now they are running Apache 2.2. Later you want to change the Apache version to 2.4. What you would do, you just come here, then modify your recipe and change the Apache version from 2.2 to 2.4. Then automatically all the machine, when they check in to the chef server, they will find that the Apache version has changed. Then automatically all machine will update themselves to the 2.4 version, whatever version that you mentioned inside the configuration. So basically the management of the infrastructure is very easy with chef. Whatever change that you want to make in your infrastructure, let's say you want to upgrade Apache from 2.2 to 2.4, then you make the configuration inside your chef server. Then automatically all machine will update themselves to the latest version, whatever version that you mentioned in chef server. Or sometimes your intention is you want to add some extra 100 machines into your infrastructure. 100 web server machine you want to add into your infrastructure. So what you would simply do is you would tell chef that these 100 machines belong to the chef server role. Then automatically chef server would have already defined the run list for the role, and whatever recipes comes under that particular run list will be applied on all the 100 machines before they will be added to the infrastructure. So any kind of infrastructure change that you want to make, you want to add additional machines, you want to delete some machine from chef, or you want to make some role change, right? Some machine role you want to change from one to another. Apache machine you want to convert to Tomcat machine, then all you need to do is just remove the machine from Apache role, add the machine to the Tomcat role. Then automatically the checklist which is assigned to Tomcat would be assigned run on that particular machine. So that's what chef is, right? It is a central place, a single place that contains the entire configuration about your infrastructure. And that is exactly what this particular folder would contain. This particular folder would contain exactly the same thing. Okay, and it is inside this particular folder cookbooks where we are going to create cookbooks. Like that, there are different folders which we will come into. So the first thing that I want to do is I want my workstation to be able to connect to the chef server. What do I need to do for that? I have the workstation here. I want this workstation to be able to connect to the chef server. What I need to do? The key file, the admin.pem and devopsvalidator.pem, these two key files I need to copy to my workstation. That's one thing. The next thing is I need to create a file called knife.rb inside the workstation, and inside this file I will write down where the pem file is saved for admin user, where the pem file is saved for the DevOps validator, what is the URL the workstation can use to connect to the chef server. All this information you will write down inside a file called knife.rb. Then your workstation would be able to connect with the chef server using HTTPS. So the first thing that I want to do is whenever you install chef server, then automatically the chef server would listen on which port? 443. HTTPS listens on 443 port. So first I need to open the port in the security group. Then only the other machine, whether it is your workstation or whether it is the client nodes, the machine, if they want to connect to the chef server, the port 443 should be open in the security group. That is the first thing which I am going to do. For the chef server, I am going to open the port 443 in AWS security group. So this is your chef server. Scroll to the right, select the security group. Then in the inbound tab, add HTTPS. From the drop down, select HTTPS. Perfect. So I opened the port in the chef server. Now let me go ahead and configure my workstation. First thing, I will create a folder called .chef inside the chef repo folder. Go inside .chef, and over here I am going to copy the key files from the server. Inside the chef server, I already generated two key files. One is admin.pem, the other is devopsvalidator.pem. Both key files I am going to copy to my workstation. I will simply copy paste, right? I will copy from here, paste it into the workstation. So in the workstation, I am going to open a new file, admin.pem. To this file, I am going to copy paste the key. I will simply copy paste. And I have one more file, DevOps validator.pem. Let me open that file also. And this content I am going to copy to my workstation. So copy from the green window, which is nothing but my chef server. From the chef server, I am going to simply copy this content and paste into the workstation machine. All right, so I created a admin.pem and DevOps validator.pem file inside my workstation. Now I am securing the file by giving only 600 permission for both file admin.pem and DevOps validator.pem. Perfect. So basically, I want to secure the file so that nobody else apart from the chef user be able to read these files. So I given a permission of 600. Perfect. Now I am going to create a file called knife.rb, and it is inside this particular file I am going to write down the configuration using which workstation will connect to the chef server. This is the content of the current directory. You are setting log level, log location, node name. What is this node name? It is the admin node, which is nothing but the username using which you are connecting to the chef server. And where exactly the pem file, admin.pem file, is located in the workstation? It is inside the current folder, admin.pem. Current folder is nothing but whatever folder you are in right now. So inside .chef folder, I already have copied admin.pem from chef server, and the validator client name is nothing but DevOps validator. And you also specify where exactly the key file is located for DevOps validator organization. And this is the chef server URL to which my workstation want to connect to. Replace the IP address with the actual public IP of your chef server, of course. So this is the URL which workstation would use to connect to the chef server. And as you can see, you mentioned the organization as DevOps slash organizations slash DevOps. Basically, in the URL itself, you are mentioning what is the organization this particular workstation belong to. So I told you the organization, different organization chef are nothing but consider them as different project. So one guy would be working on one project, the other guy would be working on a different project. So it is based on this URL, the chef server would understand which organization this guy belongs to. Whenever some DevOps engineer makes some change into the chef server, based on the URL, chef server would decide which organization it want to make the changes. Right? So these are the things you need to put in knife.rb. So main important things are the chef server URL using which the workstation want to connect to the chef server. Then what is the username? What is the organization name? Where the key files are located? All these information you mentioned in knife.rb file. Okay, great. You are good now. You are good to connect with the chef server now. Right? So I will repeat what all things you did in the workstation. The first thing you did is you created a EC2 machine, and over here you install the package Chef Development Kit. After installing Chef Development Kit, I created a separate user just for the sake of easiness. I don't want to work as root. For that, I created a separate user, and inside this separate user, I created a sample configuration package. It's nothing but a folder structure. I just want to begin with a sample template folder structure. That's what I did by running the command chef generate uh, repo chef repo. So basically this folder would be created with some folder structure. It would contain these many files and these many folders, blah blah blah. We'll talk about it later. So and I came inside that folder and I created a different folder called .chef. Inside that folder I copied the admin.pem from the chef server, DevOps validator.pem file from the chef server. Then I created a new file called knife.rb. Over there I mentioned what where exactly these files are located and all the stuff, and what is the chef server URL which workstation need to use to connect to the chef server. All these things I did in the workstation. So now your workstation is ready to be able to connect to the chef server. You have the chef server and these key files you already copied to the workstation. Now the workstation, using the settings that you mentioned inside the knife.rb, it will try to connect to the chef server. And for workstation to connect to a chef server, it uses a tool called Knife. Knife is a tool which comes along with the chef development kit package that you need to run on the workstation, which will connect you to the chef server. That's what Knife tool would do. So there's a command you can run in the chef workstation, Knife client list. When you run this particular command, what actually happens in the background is you are running this particular command in your workstation, right? Of course, you are running this command inside your workstation computer. And when you execute this command, what the workstation does is it will connect to the chef server using the URL, HTTPS URL. So which port it will connect? To the port 443, of course. Then it will fetch a list of clients of the chef server and print that onto your terminal. So basically, you run this command. If you get the list of clients of the chef server, in this case, there's only one client, which is nothing but the workstation itself. Right now, there are no clients for the chef server other than the workstation himself. So this command right now, if I run it, it is supposed to show me the list of clients. In this particular case, it is nothing but the workstation result. But always remember, this command is coming from the chef server. So you run this command in workstation, it connect to the chef server, and it will fetch the list of clients from the chef server, and that would be displayed into your terminal. So run this command, actually it would fail. When you run this command, it will fail in the first time. It says some SSL validation has failed. Actually, I will tell you why it failed. You don't need to bother about it much. Actually, the reason why it failed is, as I told you, the workstation connect to the chef server using HTTPS. It is using the HTTPS URL. Workstation connect to the chef server. You know that. And HTTPS is actually a secure protocol which uses some certificates for validation, right? Whatever connection or whatever data that workstation uh, send or receive from the chef server using HTTPS, they are actually encrypted by means of some keys. So what actually happens is, there is a certificate which is inside the chef server. Whenever the workstation tries to connect to the chef server using HTTPS, this certificate would be provided to the workstation. And for some reason, the workstation does not trust this certificate. There is a valid reason why workstation is not able to trust this certificate. The reason is nothing but this is not a certificate which is purchased from a authorized third party. It is basically a certificate which chef server generated himself. This certificate was generated by chef server himself. So it is called a self-signed certificate, which is not a certified certificate. Just you don't need to worry about it much. By default, this certificate that actually need to be purchased from a third party, a trusted third party, chef server actually generate it of its own. And this is not a trusted certificate. The workstation would say, okay, I do not trust this certificate. That is what the error that you see. SSL validation has failed. What do you need to do? Run this command, knife SSL fetch is the command that you need to run in the workstation. Basically, what happens now is, workstation will download the certificate from the chef server and install it. Basically, you are manually telling the workstation that please go ahead and trust the certificate by running this command. So now you run the command again, knife client list. You can see the chef server is responding to the workstation with the list of clients. So you are getting a response. What it means is the workstation has successfully connected with the chef server. Okay, so yeah, this is it. Any questions? So your workstation now successfully connected with the chef server. Great. So what I am going to do next, I want to add a new machine into the chef server. Of course, what you did first, you created a chef server which is looking good. Then you created your workstation. Yeah, that is also done. Now you want to create a new node which the chef server will manage. Maybe call this machine web 001. Okay, And individually, like I told you, you have any number of machine in your infrastructure. All those machines should be bootstrapped into Chef server. How you do that? You run a bootstrap command from the workstation. You run a bootstrap command from the workstation. What the workstation does is it will connect to the node. It will install some Chef client package. Then also some certificate would be copied into the node so that next time it can connect with the Chef server without any password. So these many things would happen when you do a bootstrap process. But of course, it is mandatory that any machine which you want your Chef to manage must be bootstrapped into Chef. Okay, so that's what I would do. I want to bootstrap a machine into the Chef server. So first I will create a new machine. Maybe this is a machine where I want to run Apache. I'm going to create a new machine, and this machine is going to be my web server machine running Apache. Click on review and launch button. Again, click on launch button. And create this, launch this machine. I'm going to call this machine web001. Okay, so I'm going to run this command bootstrap from where? From the workstation. This is my workstation. From the workstation, I'm going to run the command bootstrap, which will connect to this remote machine through SSH. Then install Chef client in it. Then also it would copy some certificate here, which the client would use when it want to connect to the Chef server later. So these many things need to happen during the bootstrap process. So what it also means is that the workstation must be able to this node through SSH, of course, right? Workstation must be able to connect to the node through SSH. Then only the workstation can do the bootstrapping. What would I do? I would generate a private public key pair in the workstation, right? A private and public key I would generate here. And this public key I will copy to the node, the authorized keys. Then the workstation can run the bootstrap command, which will automatically connect to the remote machine through SSH and bootstrap it. That is exactly what I am going to do. So this is my workstation. Run the command ssh keygen, which would actually create a private key as well as one public key. This is the, I think it's already a file. No. Our application can be saved in .public key. What? Go to .ssh folder. I think it did not get created. ls. Oh, double question mark. What is that? Okay. Let me create it again. I think I did some mistake. Let me run this command again, ssh keygen. I'm going to create a private public key pair. Okay, so the private key is this and public key is this. The public key of workstation I'm going to copy to the web001 machine that I just created inside AWS. Let me first log into this machine, web001 machine through SSH. Are you sure I want to connect? Yes. Then under the Ubuntu user, under .sh folder, authorized keys, I'm going to copy the workstation key here. This is the workstation key which I will copy to this file. Save this. Cool. Now I am going to run the bootstrap command from the workstation. So this is how the chef bootstrap command would look like. Knife bootstrap, the IP address of the machine which you want to bootstrap. -x, you can specify the username. -n, you can specify the name of the machine. Basically, what chef server would call this machine is what you mention using -n option. -p, if you want what password that you want to use to log in as this user. In our case, we will not use password authentication. We are using key authentication, right? So in that case, -a is the option which would indicate the bootstrap command that use the key authentication to connect to the remote machine through SSH. Then --sudo is one option that would specify that this user has sudo access. Whichever user that you are trying to connect to on the remote machine, the user has sudo access. That you can mention by specifying --sudo in the bootstrap command. So let's run this command. Knife bootstrap, then the IP address of the machine that you can see here. -x Ubuntu, -n what I want to call this machine. Basically, what chef want to call this machine. Web001. -a to mention that this is the key authentication which I want to use. --sudo to tell that this Ubuntu is a sudo user. So run this command. What will happen? The chef's workstation will now connect to the node web001 machine using SSH. Then it will install chef. Actually, chef is already installed. Then it would also copy some certificates using which this node would in future it will connect with the chef server using these certificates. Passwordless authentication also configured inside this node. All these things would happen during the bootstrap process. So this node is now bootstrapped. The web001 machine is now bootstrapped. Now we can start writing the configuration inside your chef server. You can create a recipe. Then you mention the resources like install Apache, start Apache, copy the necessary file into rww.html folder. Then including these recipes, different recipes, you create a run list. Then you can attach this run list to the web001 machine. Then automatically when you run a command called chef client inside the web001 machine, this web001 machine will connect to the chef server. It will ask, give me my run list. Chef server will give the run list, which will contain nothing but a list of recipes, and each recipe will contain a list of resources. All these resources would be individually executed on the node. That would include maybe the command like install Apache, start Apache, copy the files, index file into rww.html. All these steps are executed one by one in the client node. So that part we will actually do tomorrow. Actually, the reason is I need to join another meeting. Today we will wind up here. Uh, this is how you can add a node into chef. So any node that you want to add to the chef, there can be a number of machines, right? Of course, you will have a number of machine in your infrastructure which you want chef to manage. All such machine, first it need to be bootstrapped. Bootstrapping is probably the process of adding your machine to Chef. Now you start writing the configuration for the machine. Now you start writing the recipes, then creating the run list for the machine. All these things you can do once the machine is bootstrapped into Chef. The bootstrap is mandatory for each and every machine in your infrastructure which you want your Chef to manage. We can also achieve configuration management using auto scaling and elastic load balancers. We cannot achieve config management using auto scaling and elastic load balancers. Oh, you mean the AMI is what you are talking about, Harsha? Using AMI of AWS, can you manage the configuration? Probably not. I mean, AMI is nothing but a image. So most of the time, it might not be feasible for you to create the machine from the AMI. I don't know, Harsha, did you mean AMI? Auto scaling and elastic load balancers does not
No,
replace Chef, but if you
I'm
say,
talking about
can we not create
this
the machine using AMI apart from setting it from scratch using Chef? So AMI is not a config management. AMI is nothing but an image that contains the predefined softwares. If you want to make any change in that software which is inside an AMI, it's not possible. Let's say you created a EC2 machine, then you install WordPress in it, you install Apache in it. WordPress version is 4, Apache version is 2.4. Then you took an AMI out of this machine. Of course, this AMI will have Apache version 2.4 and WordPress version 4. Can you change it inside the AMI? No, you cannot change it. First, you want to do the upgrade in this machine, then take another AMI. So configuration change are not possible in images. It is only possible by using config management tool. That's what one example is Chef. Yeah,
yeah,
Somesh,
Basil.
send me your mail ID. Somesh, I think I lost. Uh, Sorry about that. No, I think I have it. Don't worry. I'm going to share it with you. Someshwar 172. Yeah, I will share it. I'm sharing it right away. Yeah, I will also share the Chef PPT.
Yeah. Uh, Basil, I think the second one is the correct one. Someshwar.
Okay, so anyone, any questions on Chef? Yeah, I will be. I am uploading the Chef PPT also. So just start working on this. Whatever that we did, please, you from your side also do all these things, and you will have a final project coming in Chef. So I want you to be prepared.
Basil,
That we have to begin this weekend itself, right? And by Friday we will begin with the. I mean, I will give you the assignment that you want to do. But first we need to
Basil,
finish this topic before I could give you the assignment, right? And so that is the reason we are waiting. So once Chef topic is finished, which I believe will happen on Friday I would give you the project, the assignment.
Basil, Basil.
So yeah, the PPTs are uploaded now. Any questions?
Mr. Basil,
Basil, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Basil,
How is Chef? If you have
Basil, do
any
you hear
doubt, please watch the video again. Actually, Chef is very, very important when you when you go about picking an interview, right? Chef is one of the most important topic. You need to be very good with chef before you take your interview. You should have also completed this project. So the project is nothing but whatever we infrastructure that we set up in the previous project, the AWS setup. The same thing you will set up the infrastructure. This time you will not do any manual work. The complete infrastructure creation would be managed using Chef.
Basil,
Looking
do you hear
forward to
me?
the Chef project, but you cannot start it now. You can start only after we finished the Chef training. So tomorrow we will see how you can
Basil, do you?
create the cookbook, how to create the recipes, how to create the combine multiple resources to create the recipe, how to create a run list, how to create roles, how to create environment. All these things we will complete tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, we will also see how to write some professional cookbook in Chef, some little bit advanced topics and some templates, few things. I believe from by Friday, we might need to have 1.5 to 2 hours classes tomorrow and day after, and we will complete Chef by Friday. That's the plan. Yeah. So cool then. So see you tomorrow.
Basil, do you hear me?
Watch the video if you need to. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Basil.